Now at 5, the Jasper County Juvenile Office is using new technology to keep better track of the teens in its custody. Plus, a Southeast Kansas school district is named a Special Olympics Unified Champion School, and President Biden pledges federal support for the areas affected by Hurricane Ian.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Jasper County Juvenile Office is using new technology to keep track of teens in the program. This is KOAM News at 5. RFID is a radio frequency ID that teenagers wear while they're on the premises. It helps staff members keep track of the amount of time teens spend on education, meals, exercise, and other information required by the state.
This tracks all that information, and it's a lot less paperwork that we have to do because it automatically tracks it through a mobile system that basically looks like a phone that we're able to use on the floor while we travel around the detention center with the children.
The Jasper County Juvenile Office is the first and only juvenile facility in Missouri to use this technology. Iola High School in Kansas is getting honored for its inclusive environment. Special Olympics Kansas has chosen the high school as a winner for National Unified Champion School. The winner must meet 10 Special Olympic standards that include providing and sustaining an inclusive environment, such as increasing interaction between students with and without intellectual disabilities. A teacher says social media posts of the athletes and their peers working out together has brought them attention.
All of our events and practices, and I post those onto there, so we kind of try to get the community to see kind of what we're doing and what the kids are doing. So I think that's a big reason why we did get this award, was the different things we shared on social media this last year.
The high school will receive a banner for the achievement during halftime of their home football game tonight. The drone pilot industry is taking off, and Carthage Tech Center students are working with Steadley Elementary in Carthage for some hands-on drone flying. With Steadley Elementary's 25th anniversary coming up, the tech students flew the drone for some aerial footage of the teachers and students descend into the district. That's just one way for the students to help the community and learn at the same time.
They get the opportunity to put what we're learning into action, getting them out in the field. It's a whole different atmosphere. They are doing more, they're seeing where it is becoming more practical to them.
I've met quite a few people through this program and like interviewing in the history here at Steadley for the video we did on that, and it was pretty cool to, just meet new people.
The Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International predicts that by the year 2025, at least 100,000 jobs will be created for drone pilots. Nice day for flying a drone or going to a football game. Let's check in with Sam Lane.
You're absolutely right, Dal. Beautiful skies out there, nice sunny conditions, radar is all clear. And if you are heading out to the football games, one in particular down in McDonald County tonight in Anderson at 7 o'clock, Lamar versus McDonald County. Kickoff around 72 degrees with mostly fair conditions, light winds, and around halftime 65 degrees, maybe a little bit cooler as we head towards the fourth quarter, so you might need a jacket. Let's take a look at the head forecast. You can see that we're going to have some chilly nights ahead as we head into the weekend. It'll warm during the day. And are there some rain chances in our forecast? We'll have that next week. But I wanted to take a look real quick at Ian as he is now moving in to North Carolina and towards West Virginia and Virginia. And then look at what happens. It kind of moves out into the Atlantic once again as we go into the early part of next week. So Ian has been quite a problem, but not here. And we'll have more details on our forecast just ahead.
Yeah, again, Hurricane Ian has made a second landfall, South Carolina, as a Category 1 storm. In Florida, search and rescue efforts are in full swing. Florida's governor says emergency crews conducted at least 700 rescues yesterday of people trapped in their homes. 1.9 million customers remain without power. At the White House today, President Biden laid out the steps his administration is taking to help those impacted by Hurricane Ian. He says the federal government will cover 100% of the costs for debris removal in several hard-hit Florida counties, adding that it might take months or even years for them to rebuild. Reporter Skylar Henry has more.
Please listen to all the warnings and directions from local officials and follow their instructions.
President Biden issued a warning for those still in the projected path of Hurricane Ian, and he gave an update on his administration's response efforts in Florida.
I've directed that every possible action be taken to save lives and get help to survivors, because every single minute counts.
The president has approved federal disaster funding for more than a dozen Florida counties, and more could be added to the list. He also issued an emergency declaration for South Carolina, which is getting hit with Ian's wrath today.
We're preparing for this second front of a war with Hurricane Ian up in Charleston, South Carolina. Our Coast Guard crews are on standby, and we're ready to respond there as well.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell is in Florida to assess where more federal support is needed. The White House says more than 2,000 federal response workers are also on the ground in the Sunshine State. The White House says President Biden discussed the federal response with the Republican governors of South Carolina and Florida Friday morning.
At times like these, Americans come together. They put aside politics. They put aside division.
President Biden has pledged to visit Florida and also Puerto Rico, which is recovering from the devastation caused by Hurricane Fiona just days ago. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
More than 200,000 homes and businesses are reportedly still without power in Puerto Rico. FEMA says more than 1,000 response workers are on the ground there to assist recovery efforts. In a change to the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plan, the Department of Education now says borrowers with federal loans owned by private banks will not qualify for the new forgiveness unless they consolidated their loans into the government's direct lending program before yesterday. The administration is still working to release the forgiveness application for borrowers in October. As Russian President Vladimir Putin today officially began plans to annex 4 areas of Ukraine, Ukraine's president signed an application to join NATO. President Vladimir Zelensky says the country is applying under an accelerated procedure. All NATO members must vote in favor of admitting Ukraine. There's no word on when a decision could be made. Still ahead, how trash cans have become a point of conflict between some Australians and white cockatoos. And next in Health Watch, a camp is giving kids battling cancer a chance to just be kids. Topping today's Health Watch, after a 2-year decline, suicide rates in the U.S. rose in 2021. The CDC today reported about 48,000 people died of suicide in the U.S. last year. That's nearly 1,700 more than the year before. Researchers found overall men are 4 times more likely than women to die from suicide, a gap that continued to grow in 2021. Suicide rates in the U.S. have been rising for decades and have increased 31% over the past 20 years. Swedish researchers say omega-3 fatty acids can help reinforce the immune system during a severe COVID-19 infection. The supplements were administered intravenously for a study of 22 elderly patients in 2020 before any vaccines were available. The omega-3 fatty acids appeared to trigger a healing response that reduced inflammation but did not inhibit their immune system. More than 10,000 children are diagnosed each year with cancer. Treatment can impact the whole family and be very isolating. During this Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, Naomi Ruckham shows us a camp that's giving patients and their siblings the chance to just be kids.
These campers are ready for fun. For 16 years, Sunrise Day Camp has been offering children with cancer and their siblings a safe place to enjoy sports, activities, and most of all, families just like themselves.
You get to be yourself because other kids had cancer, and you get to have a lot of fun with your friends.
10-year-old Ella Sujin and her 12-year-old brother Andrew started coming here 3 years ago while she was being treated for B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL.
When Ella got cancer, I couldn't do anything with my friends. You can make a lot of friends who know exactly what you're going through.
We always say that Sunrise is the silver lining of her diagnosis. She was able to forget that she was still on chemotherapy. It was great for him to be able to come and just be a kid.
At home, it's a world of no, and here at camp, it's a world of yes.
Sunrise now has 10 camps across the United States and Israel, serving about 2,000 children.
Children's jobs are to play, And that's how they learn confidence, they learn new skills, they learn how to make a friend.
I just made a cape today.
6-year-old superhero Alana McCormick and her 10-year-old brother Gavin have been coming for 2 years. Alana was diagnosed with B-cell ALL when she was 3.5.
It's like the best camp ever. It's the most favorite place to be here.
I wanted them to have some sense of normalcy again. It really is an incredible opportunity to be able to come here and have our children be a part of this experience.
And run around without a care in the world, like it should be for kids. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Since the pandemic, Sunrise also moved to virtual camp, so children who live too far away or who don't feel well enough to come to camp can zoom in from home or their hospital beds. Here in the 4 states, a similar sort of camp for young cancer patients and their families is Camp Quality. You can find more information on that at KOAMnewsnow.com. High heat equals high danger for people who work outdoors. A study done at Oregon State University found a correlation between warmer weather and serious on-the-job injuries. Days with a heat index above 90 were associated with a 19 to 29% increased risk of getting hurt, possibly due to dehydration or fatigue. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, what the Federal Reserve's latest numbers show about the rate of inflation.
And we don't have to worry about a heat index today. We do have to worry about the drought continuing, and I'll have your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Well, friends, we had another Chamber of Commerce weather day across the region with bright sunny skies and light winds and warm temperatures. Just an absolutely gorgeous day. Also down in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Just a few floating clouds in the high cirrus category floating by today, but that is about it. It's been pretty dry all across the area. And there's the cirrus clouds up to the north, especially here in Joplin. We made it up to 78 today, which was 1 degree above normal, but still pretty nice. Check out the morning low. We were down to 42 this morning. The records are 30 back in 1984 and 93 back in 1952. And over the last month, over the month of September, we've had 24 days above normal. In fact, last week we had 3 records set and only 5 days below normal and 1 normal day. So needless to say, September has been way above normal on temperatures and way below normal on rainfall. And you can see that on the drought tracker. Exceptional drought extending across southern Kansas into southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, surrounding by that with extreme drought conditions. So we need the rain. And this month we are going to go down as the 3rd driest September in Joplin history with only 0.4 of an inch of rain all month long, and that's simply not enough. Radar right now, of course, is all clear as it's been over the last month, really. Temperatures are very pleasant right now if you're heading out and about. 77 in Carthage, 76 in Lamar, as well as Pittsburgh, 81, a little bit warmer out there in Parsons, and 82 in Neodesha. Currently here in Joplin, we're sitting at 78 degrees with an east wind. Feels like 77, so it's actually feeling cooler than the temperature. And the reason why? Look at the dew point. 32 right now, giving us a 19% on the humidity. That's extremely bone dry air, and it's making it feel just a little bit cooler. And dew points across the region are in the 30s pretty much as well. 32 in Neosho, 37 in Fort Scott, and 35 in Iola. So pretty dry evening. One thing that has been improving has been the allergies. Today it was 5.4 and tomorrow 5.2. So at least we have some good news out there for those allergy sufferers. If you're heading to the lakes this weekend, it looks like it's going to be below normal on a lot of the lakes, including Grand Lake, around 2 feet below normal. Over in Beaver Lake, they're about 3 feet below normal there. And Table Rock is way down there at 4, almost 5 feet below normal. And Stockton right now is almost 6 feet below normal. We desperately need the rainfall to get into those creeks and streams and help those lake levels out just a little bit. Tonight we're going to see lows again in the 50s and some upper 40s across the area, 48 in Lamar and Joplin. And then tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny skies, just a few clouds floating by with highs in the mid-70s. And then as we go through tomorrow night into Sunday morning, we're going to see lows in the upper 40s once again across our area with easterly winds. Sunday afternoon, temperatures very nice, upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. And then as we go into Monday morning, again, very pleasant with lows in the 50s on those easterly winds. Over the next 7 days, 81 on Sunday, 82 Monday, 83 Tuesday, And then Wednesday, a slight chance of a storm as we head towards Wednesday and maybe again on Friday with a high of 65. So we're starting to see the rain chances increase, just not enough though.
Boy, we need a breakthrough.
We really do. We really do, Dal.
Thanks, Sam.
All right.
Coming up, a battle between humans and birds catching the eye of scientists. This is interesting. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Donald Gardner served in the U.S. Navy from 1962 to 1977. The Jasper, Missouri native was stationed in Cuba and Vietnam, and we salute Chief Petty Officer Donald Gardner, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation shows prices surged again last month. The federal government reports the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index for August rose by 6.2% from the same month a year ago. For July, it was 6.4%. This latest inflation data puts more pressure on Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who has vowed to make taming inflation the central bank's overarching focus. Mortgage rates rose for the sixth week in a row. As of yesterday, the average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage was 6.7%. That's according to Freddie Mac. It's the highest rate since July of 2007. This year alone, mortgage rates have more than doubled as the Federal Reserve hikes interest rates in hopes of taming inflation. In the last 4 weeks, the average 30-year fixed rate loan has risen nearly a full percentage point. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says her state is moving forward with the goal of requiring all new cars and trucks sold in her state to be zero emission by 2035. The rules being crafted would have about 1 in 3 new auto sales be zero emission by 2026, about 2 in 3 by 2030. The move follows a similar initiative California unveiled last month. Angry birds in Australia are battling locals over who will be king of the trash. As Ian Lee reports, the escalating conflict has even caught the attention of scientists.
These may seem like beautiful white cockatoos, but they're ruffling feathers down under.
Loud, very persistent, aggressive, definitely.
These clever birds are in an arms race with local Australians being waged at the trash can battlefield. Folks are fed up with their garbage being tossed about.
This is to stop the cockies, so I put it under here. Just to stop the cockatoos from getting in the bin.
Not even a heavy stone could stop these bird brains.
And he had that rock in there. Somehow they moved it. I don't know how, it must have taken 5 or 6 of them, but yeah, they definitely moved it.
The flying feathers eventually caught the eyes of scientists. A study looked into how the birds tried to break into more than 3,000 trash cans. They observed how the cockatoos created traditions by watching and learning from people tossing their trash, then passing on that knowledge.
They have a certain capacity to problem solve, and we know they are super curious and they like to explore.
Some just want to coexist, believing it's not wise to get cocky with cockatoos.
They're getting more intelligent. They're evolving. Yeah, like if you go back like 5-10 years ago, they didn't know how to open bins, so that they're figuring stuff out.
The ultimate solution to this man versus nature standoff is likely waiting in the wings. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Yeah, bird brain, not necessarily an insult. For people who are serious about keeping their trash safe, scientists recommend either a heavy latch or an object to block the hinge on the can's lid. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a warning to major cities along the East Coast about potential flooding. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the Iola School District being named a Special Olympics Unified Champion School. And Pitt State holds an open house for its newly renovated herbarium. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6.
We got a lot of football going on tonight.
Yeah, nice weather for it.
It looks like it's going to be great weather both tonight and also tomorrow for the Miners Bowl, with temperatures around 80 degrees around kickoff time. And then Sunday looks like it's going to be great as well. Finally getting some rain chances in here late next week, but they're only isolated at this point. But in the extended, we actually might start getting more and more chances of rain towards next weekend, with better chances of rain and much cooler temperatures.
Both of those would be welcome.
Very welcome indeed.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.